Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Feargiveness Frequency. We have a rule in our house that if a cat decides to lay on you, we have two healers that you can't move. That if they choose you to lay on and to take a nap with, then you are kind of stuck in that spot until either Mother Nature pulls you away or they decide to wake up. So Henry's sleeping on my lap. And I just finished this beautiful session with a group of authors that are helping to birth uh, parts of the forgiveness frequency as we move forward. And Henry decided it was his time, and he's helping me over the last 4 or 5 days while in this integration period of really helping purge through some of the collective clearings that we've been doing. And as I sat here and I just was told to open up the forgiveness frequency, sit within the center, and allow the messages that have come through over the last 5 days. What has been so unique about this integration experience is that it has been in stillness and very little outside influence. We were asked, once we received this activation, we were asked to really stay within that cocoon. And as these profound messages were coming through, like truth bombs, uh, it wasn't to write it down. It wasn't to voice it out beyond the activation itself. It was just to be with it, to feel every aspect of our physical vessels changing, to be a frequency match for the God frequency, for the divine frequency. And as I sat within the forgiveness frequency center, because I needed the healing, I needed all the colors to come forth. I called in so many different guides and just support from the ethers to help support this collective purge that I stepped into sacred service for. And for me, my role was to do the collective purge for the children. And over the course of the last 5 days, and a little bit before, there have been timeline convergences where lower timelines are converging into the higher timelines. This full completion will happen by the end of this month. As when you are bridging that and you're asked to be a bridge. So I'm just going to tap in. I'm going to tap in and allow the Divine Father, Mother, God, and the forgiveness frequency just to share with you. So I encourage you to take a deep breath and just join me in the center. Find that center. Allow that breath just to land so gracefully into your heart. Flowing that energy down in the heart and just letting it go wherever it needs to go. Allowing it to flow down your spine, giving you that beautiful grounding cord. Bringing you into the center of this moment, this here, this now. And I encourage you, if this video has found you, there are codes, keys, and colors within for you to receive. And these are activating. These are remembrance codes, pops of color into your vision. And that's why I usually will put a color at the bottom of our screen to kind of give you a visual of what the color of the frequency. And this time I'm being told to, when I was setting this up, to allow you to include the colors that you see. So drop the colors that you see throughout this transmission, this broadcast from the forgiveness frequency. Drop the colors and pops of colors that you might see in the comments, and we will build our rainbow together. Beautiful. And if you would like to receive the Akashic Reiki that and the frequencies that are being flowed through me to you, just give your universal acceptance to the Divine Father, Mother, God to receive this as We are transmitting and transmuting and transcending this information to you. We have both of our healers here. Henry is on my lap, and a mama kitty is sitting, laying right next to me. So we received the inner earth portal about a week or so ago. I want to say this 18th. The last few weeks have been a complete blur. When we receive the inner earth portal, in that integration process of it, we received the galactical plasma light body. And that was filled with a ton of colors from all of the comets, this particular comet that we were receiving the time capsule of information from. And the receival of this filled the galactical plasma light body with a ton of color. And over the course of the last week or so, we have been, those have been converging with our crystalline light body. So we were receiving this new overlay, this new imprint, this new blueprint, and this merge and convergence is completing this coherence that we need as we move forward. When this was done and this activation occurred in the integration process of it, different aspects of our bodies became ready for to receive more information and to have new keys and codes unlocked within it. As this was happening, there is a convergence. Okay, I'm asked to go into the blur. So I can't see you, but I know you can see me. We were asked to move into a sacred service because there were timeline convergences that were happening, and we needed our pillar, our cosmic celestial pillar. We needed to be a bridge, a rainbow bridge to the lower timelines to allow those that are ready to kind of merge and converge with the higher timelines. And as those lower timelines completely shut down, those bridges were the way for those who were ready, that held enough light to transition over. And the piece of it that I played was for the children. And as the timelines were shutting down, it's like they lost power. Buildings were crumbling, facades were completely changing. The veil was removed. And what was standing in its place were all of these rainbow children. Imagine a building crumbling, and every child on every level was held in space and time. And then they were brought down safely. They were protected. So as all of these layers of confusion, of distortion, of programming, whether that was through their parents, their lineage, gestational trauma, whether that was through political or schooling or religion, all of the aspects of distortion that was creating their overlays was completely removed. It was kind of like a child having their phone or an iPad taken away, where after the first day or so, they start to see the fun around them. They stop thinking about it and they move on to going outside and playing. This is what happened on a collective level for all of these children. This was happening on every level for young adults and adults, all ages, this grand awakening that we are going through. But this was my bridge was for the children. And as the children understood what their next role was, their way out was to follow this color. And as they reached the bridge, they were like taking off the backpacks, the weight of the world that they carried, all of the stories that they were told, all of the belief systems that they were given or inherited were being dropped away, shed away. Their belly backpacks of gestational trauma that held all those stones, all the boulders were being removed that they've had to climb or move around, walking on eggshells based on life, were all being removed. It had all crumbled. And they were pulling out stones out of their pockets. They were taking off their shoes, taking off their jackets, just being lighter and lighter with every step. And they crossed these bridges with barefoot and blessed. And as this timeline lost its light and completely shut down, they were merged into and converged into a new timeline. As this was happening, those connected in those pillars to the lower timelines, there was a lot of shifts in energy because of being connected to there was a flux, let's say. So every day it was really important for drinking water, for grounding outside, for resting when you needed to rest, because you just, as you felt something that wasn't your frequency match, you knew that it wasn't yours to carry, and you could ask, is this mine to carry, or is this the collective? And during this process, it was for the collective. So knowing that you're carrying this for the children, you were able to quickly feel it, see it, and heal it, and receive healing for it, and from all of the support that was around you. So as this sacred service was occurring and this collective convergence was happening, that was only one of three. So then we moved on. So we disconnected from that lower timeline. We moved to a new timeline. And again, that same process has started over. What I'm being told to share is beautiful. Have compassion with yourself. As we step forward and all of these convergences are happening, having compassion with yourself first. And it's coming through as you only knew what you knew at the time. And that has got you to here. That has made you who you are. As all of these truths start to come out, you having compassion for yourself first, giving yourself the same empathy and compassion and grace and understanding you would give another is what you need to feed yourself right now. And when you hear about timelines and things like that, your timeline is constantly shifting. You are not set to one particular timeline and when someone says, oh, we just shifted, we don't all shift 100% as a collective. You may have shifted to the timeline that someone else is talking about months ago, even years ago, based on your journey. When I share about a timeline convergence or a shift, it is because there's a majority of the collective that I represent and are connected to that are shifting. And that's where I'm told to and guided to bring this forth. But I want you to understand, and what's coming through the understanding aspect of it is that you are constantly shifting based on every decision you make. So every step forward you take in divineness, closer into divine light, into alignment, into resonance, into coherence, you are shifting. You are increasing your vibration and your frequency. As more of the truth is revealed, you will need this compassion and understanding and full discernment of the information that's being shared in the collective, even mine. Take what resonates, what really feels and vibrates you at a level of coherence. Take that and run with it. Take that into your heart and see. And whatever doesn't, flow through the rest. You will have a frequency match. And that's what this beautiful message kept coming through. And it removed a lot of judgment I had on myself for my journey and experience, in the understanding of why we go through the things we go through. And I'll use examples of when you fall in love, when you find love, you now know what it feels like to be in that unconditional state of love, whether that's with yourself or another. And when you have that state of love, you now know what it is. If that frequency match was to change and that relationship was to go, you now know what it feels like for when it comes again. When you're in a meditative state or in your 0 point and you have this connection with the God frequency and you feel in such bliss and beauty and divine, you're wrapped in this hug, you are given the gift of knowing what that frequency feels like. So when it happens again, it doesn't go away. It's yours. You've achieved it. You've received it. And then when you reach that frequency match again, you know to lean in because I've been here before. There's a remembrance within you. And our fascia systems and our bodies keep score, good, bad, and indifferent. They store our traumas, they store our emotions, they store all of our good memories, our not so good memories, and the not so good ones, the ones that fill up our trash cans of traumas and insecurities. They store everything we've upcycled. They store love, joy, but they also store the judgment and the self-sabotage that we may have for ourselves. So what I was shown in these frequency matches is when we receive them and we achieve them, that is what we are seeking for. So I take the biggest truth bomb that came through was about drugs and or anything that changes any substance, earthly made or um, synthetically created, any substance that we take in ingest that alters our state is also helping us to achieve a frequency, good, bad, or indifferent. When I was brought through and going through just discernment about we had cleared the false light within the spiritual community, and this has been going on for months. There's no one to blame when we go through this. There are no one to hold accountability or responsibility for it, including yourself. That as these false lights are removed and the light is turned on in many areas of the spiritual community, you did the best with what you knew at the time, and the divine is removing those layers of distortion for you so you can fully see the trueness of it. So you may have a frequency match with someone for years, and whether they were your guru or their coach or mentor, or you just valued the way that they were living their life, and then all of a sudden you start to see cracks in that facade and it started to crumble, or you are no longer a frequency match for the messages that were coming through. Some people will stay because they are holding on to, but I believed them before. And then others, you will start to realize that this is just this person came in for a time and a season, and they brought you to where you are now. And this is where that compassion and empathy has to be front and center. You did the best with what you knew at the time. And as these frequencies no longer match to your vibration and frequency, you are leveling up. And when these substances came through and we were clearing away the distortions around them, it was not there was no fault or judgment, and nor there ever is when you're dealing with the divine Father, Mother, God. When Source is leading that light and showing you, and in the remembrance of it, you were gifted that substance at that time on your journey for you to achieve a higher state of consciousness. And once you achieved and received that higher state of consciousness, what that was creating you a frequency. And when you came out of that substance, when you came back to earth, you still had that frequency match. And it didn't necessarily in time, it may not be needed through that substance because you have it and you achieved it. It's in there. And when you find in a meditation, when you receive and you reach that level of frequency, and my whole body is filled with goosebumps and sparkles, you have a frequency match to it and you achieved it in a different way. So it's there was so much gratitude given to those who had the journey through substances to achieve those higher states of consciousness, to show you it's possible. Just like when the before there was a 4-minute mile, they never thought it was possible until someone person achieved it. Now there's a frequency match for it, and now it's a standard. That's what is occurring with this Christ consciousness and Christ conscious connection. When you achieve that match in whatever way, shape, or form, it's allowing that remembrance to be there. So for when you achieve it or meet it in another, you know to lean in because you already have that remembrance within you. And this happened with so many different aspects. So when I was doing clearing and upcycling on having to use cannabis for pain and going through the chronic pain process, being on palliative care for almost 4 years, going through the high level of opiates and morphine. I remember that the body receiving the frequency match when given morphine or Dilaudid, and that bliss of no pain was transcending. It was like finally after months and years of pain or, based on the space in between, when your body received that no painness from that substance, it achieved a level for you to remember what it feels like to be not in pain. And as Feargiveness Frequency was birthed and these pops of color came through, the higher I raised my vibration and frequency, I was able to, when I got to the known pain without having drugs, without using alcohol for pain, without having to use cannabis, I would find those frequency matches of the no pain through meditation, through breath work, through just raising my vibration, through barefoot grounding. When I achieved those, it was already a frequency match within me that I just leaned in, like, oh my gosh, I achieved it. And there was moments in meditation where I would get to a point of such high vibration and frequency and connection, and it felt like those same moments of, and I hadn't felt that since taking those substances. But I found it in meditation, and then that kind of became my own, addiction. Like, I wanted to achieve it even more because I loved that space of no pain, and then we were able to use that in reaching that multiple times to increase our expansion of meditation. So then when I would go into meditation, I was never striving for that anymore. It was just there. It became my frequency match. The same thing when with connecting with color. Each color holds a frequency and a vibration. And every time I would reach a color in a frequency and vibration that got me to no pain, I would lean in. I would wear that color for days on end. I would wrap myself in it. I would buy things with that color because I knew that that color allowed me to achieve that state of no pain. And as time went on and connecting with color and having it around me and building the forgiveness frequency, every time I would step into the center of it with just a breath, bringing me into the center of my forgiveness frequency, that vibration of frequency that we have built is a one of no pain. That's where these miracles continue to started to happen. As we moved through this again to do this, once you do it for yourself, if you're called into sacred service to do it for the collective, you already have the tools and keys and codes and colors to do this for the collective. And that's when we were going through the false light and clearing that light for the spiritual community. That is what we were doing. we were able to go through and with no judgment, with just grace and gratitude and compassion, we were able to move all of these substances out of the false light and raise them into the frequency match of what they were meant to achieve and why God made them available. Ultimately, available for others to partake in it, to receive that frequency match as a remembrance and to achieve it so they know what that feeling was like to be within the essence of God and the God frequency for when they found it on their journey again. I am full and goosebumps knowing that that message was delivered in the frequency match it needed to be. The Divine Father, Mother, God, there is no judgment. It is only love for you and our confirmations. Let's see if I can. I just want to put us in another moment of pause and turn on my do not disturb. It had just turned off, so perfect timing. That was huge. That one was big, and it settled, being wrapped in the hug of the divine in such grace. Take a deep breath in. Allow yourself just for that to receive and to clear, and that's going to clear out, we're clearing out any distortions that or any judgment of self and others when it comes to substances within the spiritual community. And the divine knows that you will no longer need those substances as you move forward and you find those matches within your own vibration of your connection that you're building, your frequency and vibration that you build with the Divine Father, Mother, God. And they're just like waiting for it. Like they want you to find it without it because you already have it within you. And they're so grateful that that fellow that came across flowed through your path at the time that it did. But it will no longer be needed as we move forward. That's their truth. So as we move through these collective timeline convergences, the next one is happening and it's completely shutting down over the next 24 to 48 hours. The 28th, what are we, the 27th? So the 28th and 29th, the remnants of this timeline, this last one of the lower timelines will be shut down, period. There's no going back. The bridges are open for those that are on this grand awakening to step into and converge with the higher timelines before that complete timeline shuts down. Again, for the children, when we received this activation the other day that still completely blows my heart, mind, and soul wide open, we were placed into sacred service for the collective to purge through the children for the children. And I woke up 2 days in a row, fully congested within my chest, high heart, throat, shoulder blades, arms weren't working, like everything was asleep. It was physically, I was in so much discomfort and pain. And these were the moments where like, oh my goodness, am I going backwards? And when I asked, it was like, no, you were doing this because you've already done it. You're doing this for the collective, but you're doing it for the children. And I think there's 2 billion children, 2 to 3 billion children in the world under the age of 18. That is what the sacred service that I was asked to step into over the course of the last 4 days, 5 days. The 22nd, that the 2222 mirror. Every year there's something beautiful that comes, and this was what was for me. As we moved into the 23rd that morning, I was uh, feeling like I have a spinal drain that happens every day. I have small permanent holes and tears within my spinal column. This was, if I think back to like the worst spinal drain I've ever had, that's what this compared to in a frequency match to. The discomfort that I felt from my solar plex up in every aspect, I could feel every follicle, hair, skin follicle. The sensitivity was just, I didn't know what to do. I couldn't even walk outside. Drinking water hurt. But I knew I was in sacred service. And I knew I was fully protected. I just didn't, I needed to ask for assistance, for help. So I opened up my powwow and I just said, what is available and what healing is available to me in this now moment? And then we were walked through the physical vessel, from the jaw to the nasal, from the ears. We were just kind of moved throughout the body and had to say out loud every aspect of pain, discomfort, tightness, soreness that we felt, and every organ that lit up. And I had a ton of pops of color happening all around me. So I just was guided through that. And then we were guided into this activation. And this activation, I just need to tap in so I could fully remember it. We've done it a few times, but every single time we step into the activation, we are completely transported into uh, a different aspect of the God frequency. I don't even know how to explain it. It is the infinite I am. It is being fully one in unity. And being asked to pause and go back to the unity. Part of this transition is to move into a space of in full convergence with the infinite I am. And that is being one with the Christ conscious connection, with the God frequency. And to do that, that requires unity in self and with others. There is no separation as we move forward. What I'm shown and bringing the same energy of what we just shared about having those frequency matches. When you find your soul tribe, when you find when the discernment that was brought through for the groups of um, we have this squeak. Both the cats are listening to the squeaky noise. So on social media, we were brought through uh, and brought into that group 7 or anything that has to do with groups. And we were shown with full discernment the ability of those groups to affect change, but not in the best way possible. This is where the message came through, and the truth, like it was like a complete truth bomb and just landed, was those groups create unity and oneness. When you feel like you found your tribe, it's the same thing. When you feel like you found your soul tribe, your community, or you're building a community and you're leading that community, you are creating a frequency of unity connection. And when you find where you just feel like I'm at home, I'm at peace, I'm in full connection, and you lean in and you just feel so much expansion happening. This isn't a bad thing. what we're being told from the divine is that that gives you the frequency match to what it feels like to be in full unity, what it feels like to be fully connected, and what it feels like to have that frequency and vibrational match to it. That is giving you the remembrance codes for when you achieve it with the Divine Father, Mother, God. When you achieve that with your God frequency in your full convergence, coherence, convergence, and infinite connection to the infinite I am, you will have that match because you've already felt that in your soul tribes and your communities that you've built. Groups, communities, soul tribes, in the eyes of the divine, are all a form of separation. You are receiving and achieving within it the steps that you need to take, you will use to bring with you forward. But ultimately, in the end, we all become one. So if I said you were blue, you're in the blue group, and you're in the violet group, and you are the red group, and you're the orange group, and you're the yellow group, and wow, you are the green group. If you were separated into those colors combined give us a rainbow. We wouldn't have a rainbow of unity without each and every one of those colors. The same goes with every group and every tribe and every community. Ultimately, they are giving you the codes, keys, and colors for you for when you achieve it on a Christ conscious connection, when separation is removed. And that is what's happening with these timelines convergences. We will achieve a timeline, a frequency, and a vibration that we've never felt. We felt it before in those communities, in those soul tribes, and in those groups. But now we were going to feel it with no barriers, no boundaries, in complete oneness with the ultimate of the divine, in that full infinite I am. And it's when you become that full extension of the divine, it's when it's the heavenly gates open, it's when you are coming home. You are one with everyone and everything. And it's so important to know that you will receive that frequency and achieve those frequency from those groups. Again, there's no judgment. It's just letting you know that those barriers and boundaries of those will be removed when there's no separation. So preparing yourself for that, to lean in when you feel that unity and oneness, that home, but to know that there is something bigger than that you are here to be a part of, to achieve. And every single one of your frequencies and vibrations, every single one of your colors is needed in the grand spiral of creation. The ultimate, the infinite I am has you all in it. In the ultimate rainbow, you are in it. Every one of us holds is a drop within the consciousness of creation, the ocean of creation, the ocean of consciousness. It's not telling you to leave. It's telling you, have you received and achieved that vibration and frequency within that soul tribe, within that community, within that vibe tribe, like in that group, in that color, whatever that is, have you achieved and received the unconditional love of the Divine Father, Mother, God? Have you achieved and received the feeling of home, the feeling of unity, the feeling of love, joy? Have you got that yet? And if you have, then this is your call. This is your remembrance that you are here for something even bigger. And when you release the boundaries, when you allow all of that, the facade to fall away of those communities, of those groups, and you stand in your sovereign being of loving them for them, but also loving everyone else as you want to be loved and as you have been loved. And you can't love another till you love yourself. So this goes even deeper. Have you received and achieved love, joy within yourself? Have you received and achieved home within? Have you done the work to receive and achieve the frequency and vibrational match to the divine Father, Mother, God, to the God frequency within you without anyone else? And if you answer yes to that, then your time is now. And you will move into and converge into these higher timelines by the end of this month in full unity and oneness without separation. And this is to assist you in answering that same question or asking that same question. I encourage you to ask it of yourself and ask it of the community in which you're in. And if you are a leader within that community and you've built these beautiful soul tribes and you are the one that's helping others to achieve and receive that frequency of that God frequency match of love, joy, then expand that. Ask that question of contemplation, of journal prompting, of bringing it into meditation, bringing it into your heart. How can I take down the walls of the edges of this community and make it and have it be a frequency match to all? Is everyone invited? And by doing that, you are now bringing and aligning everyone that you have come into connection with. You are converging them into this higher timeline with or without their knowledge because you're raising your frequency. This is where the conscious leadership role steps in, where you are resonating and in full coherence in body, in form, and in frequency to be a part of this full convergence that we're stepping into. And that's what this whole month of November will be. It will be all about resting within this unity, this ocean of consciousness, resting within this infinite possibilities, with this infinite grace and compassion. And as the truth is revealed, keep reminding yourself to have full compassion. You can be like, how did I not know? Like, how did I, in the entire time I've been on this earth or past lifetimes, how did I not remember that this was happening to everyone, all of humanity? As these truths continue and these facades crumble and these masks are removed, and the frequency match of truth comes through, really please give yourself grace and compassion. There is no judgment coming from anywhere but from you. So that's where we have to release that and give it back to source, because there's so much more waiting for you. And that is where we are led to this activation. As this activation came through, it opened up the high heart, the new throat, a whole new throat system. What it did was it created you. So the I just want to tap back into it. The galactical plasma light body that we received is the overlay, and everything that's happening to us is happening to Gaia on a collective level, planetary. It's happening universally and it's happening cosmic. So the galactical teams are going through this, the cosmic teams, the universal teams. It's happening to everyone to be in full convergence with the infinite I am as we move through the next 2 months. This activation, though, took that galactical plasma light body in all of its colors that were weaved into it. It brought it and converged it with our crystalline light bodies, creating a whole new body, a whole new grid system. So if you think of your physical vessel and your etheric fields and your morphogenetic fields, your horizontal and vertical, everything, your total field. If you looked at your field, your every joint, your wrist, your elbows, every convergence point on your body that moves, that allows you, the hinges, heavenly hinges is what it came through as, are all remembrance, time capsules of remembrance with codes, keys, and colors within them. And this activation that happened ignited every single one of those. So every joint, everything that allows your physical vessel to move, the fascia system that's is weaved in all of your muscles and tissues, the flow, the blood, the DNA, every aspect was ignited into this new grid. And each of those are light nodes within the grid. When this activation occurred, it came through there's the breath of God, which is the chakra system of the high heart. And that is number 8, or it came through to me as number 8 years ago. That was the breath of God. And it taught the butterfly kisses where you breathe through the nose, you pull it into the third eye, you allow it just to pause there for a moment, and you flutter your eyes backwards in the butterfly kisses that flows that energy to the back of the skull. So the mouth of God, or the breath of God in your high heart, gave you the breath of the butterfly kisses that came down as you flowed it down, and it opened to the mouth of God, which is the chakra 9 or 10. It comes to me in the high heart was a fuchsia pink. The mouth of God, which is the top of the spinal cord, the bottom of the skull, where those two meet, the mouth of God comes in like a sapphire. It's like a grandmother peacock colors. And that's what we've been working with for the last couple of years. I'm going to say 2022. We were given the butterfly kisses, the breath of God, the mouth of God open. The entire spinal column is what we've been using. When we sat in full surrender and asked what healing was available to us in this now moment, we were taken to the light of God. And I'd never even contemplated this being a light activation, because it was like that. How did I not know? How did I not get it? Just didn't understand it. But right at the base, so our C1 through 7, C7, that ball at the back of our necks that we have been told it's poor posture or it's tech neck, or that center of that C7 completely activated and ignited this light of God. We use the breath of God through the high heart, bringing that up to the third eye with the butterfly kisses to the opening the mouth of God that ran down the spinal cord channel. Once we were fully ignited, the C7 ball of light was uncovered. It was unmasked, but it was covered with layers and layers of distortion, of belief systems, of control programs. It was like concrete. Some of the levels were concrete. Once we use sound, it's a communication center to Christ, the God Frequency Infinite I Am. It's a whole new communication center. And many have been, through the collective, have been working through the upgrades of the throat chakra since June, July or so. This was kind of that final piece to the puzzle. You have been given all these little tools, sips and tricks, breath work, and sound chambers, and your light language, all of this that's come through, all of your gifts have brought you here to this moment for this C7 activation. And this was done for the collective. So if this is resonating with you, I will put the activation out and have it available for you to transition through. If you feel you're not quite ready for it, it will find you in the time that it's meant to, in the right frequency match for it. It will all be divinely timed for when you see this message, and your body will react to it, is what I'm told for you to know. If your fingers go numb, your fingers or toes go numb or start to tingle, if you have feeling at the base of the skull, you get raspiness in your throat and it's like hard to talk. These are all indications that you might be ready to receive this activation. As the as my throat goes, as we removed the layers of distortion, of limiting beliefs, of the control programs, it was like layers and layers and layers. When we got to the center of it, and this needed to, like, we had to love the fascia and soften the fascia through sound and breath to really activate the high heart, the third eye, the crown, the mouth of God, the spinal cord channel. We had to go through it, all the sounds chambers, to remove each and every one of those layers. And as each sound penetrated a layer, it just crumbled, kind of like we saw when we saw the lower timelines closing, and the children going over the rainbow bridge barefoot and blessed. As we got closer and closer to the center, the vibration and light that was coming out of it was just magnificent. So hard to put into words. We got to the very center, and imagine it was like an egg, very precious, and it was held in a shell. And we were told to break the shell, and we used sound to do that. And when the shell broke, it was like an egg, but it was uh, the egg white. The white of it was this rainbow plasma light, and it just kind of flowed and filled in all the space in between our physical vessel. It was like an egg being cracked upon your head, and how it just kind of, you could feel that flow and that energy. But what at the center, what the yolk was, I'll have to tap back in because it's so hard to explain. It was creation oil, secretion oil, that was this golden, like luminescent, like you felt like you were, um, phosphorus was the word, the only word I could come up with it. The bioluminescence, it was like, it just came to me as phosphorus, that you started, your whole entire grid started to glow as phosphorus. And every single time that oil, the plasma went everywhere and it softened everything and it filled in every nook and cranny, as above, so below, like it was flowing through you. And it was pushing out anything that no longer served. So the purge part of it, of all of the density and lineage and lifetimes of uh, purging has been occurring over the last 5 days through the high heart, the throat, the chest. It's everything's coming through this area. And the release of it has been very dramatic at times. Like, uh, I haven't had this amount of fluid and mucus leaving my body. And I drain my spinal drain every day. This was probably one of the, imagine like the worst spinal drain I've had for 5 days in a row. You wake up kind of choking on the amount of fluids that were coming through. As we received all of this, it pushed everything into the center that no longer served you. And that's what's coming up. And you're being asked to purge it out in any way, shape, or form that you can. That there isn't, uh, you're divinely protected as you're moving through this. as this secretion oil, this just honey, yes, uh, the honey of the God frequency of God, as it hit every single joint, your elbows, your wrists, your shoulders, your jaw, anything that was in movement, every one of your vertebrae, through that C7, it just would completely ooze this out. And each one of those are a time capsule. This secretion oil was the locking key, had the codes, keys, and colors for your entire grid to light up in this luminescent, ooh, my ears are ringing, in this luminescent phosphorus. You glow. Your drop in the drop of consciousness is now glowing, and it is seen from the heavens. It is seen from light years and light years away as your glow comes online. And it's the breath of God, the butterfly kisses, the mouth of God, and C7 became the light of God. And what it was, it's kind of like an Iron Man light that pulled a string from you directly to the heart of God. That you were now in communication and communion and attunement to Him, them, they, however it comes through for you. You were now in full connection with the God frequency. And this is where you are given and achieve that frequency connection that can never be broken again. And through you, God speaks. Through you and your frequency, you serve. The communication, you became one in that moment of full activation. You became one with everything. It wasn't just on a human level. This was through sound and color. Everything activated, sacred geometry. It was with every blade of grass, with every drop of dew, the animal kingdom, the wing kingdom, the oceanic kingdom, the tree spheres, everything that it was feeling, you were feeling in that moment. And as your body activated, you could feel every hair follicle on your hair receiving the light, down to the cellular and molecules and atoms, like on a molecular level. Every aspect of you was changed in that moment with the activation of the C7, the light of God, the Christed light. And all of the little tips, tricks, and gifts that you've been given, and frequencies and vibration matches that you have in your treasured box, is all of them were called into service in that moment for you to fully receive. And then in the integration, in the 3 days that followed that, it's really, we're coming out of it now, but we're about the 5th day. I'm so glad I waited to go through the integration process before I was given the words to share it, because you were really truly cocooned within the divine Father, Mother, God. And I don't feel like I am speaking just within the Feargiveness frequency or just within our powwow. It is all in full convergence into one. That everything that we've been through leading up to this moment gave us the tools, the tips and tricks and techniques needed for us to achieve this. And if we had missed any or fast-tracked any step along the way, we wouldn't have been ready for this in this now moment. And you will know if you are ready. You are ready, is what I'm being told. If you are here now and you are listening to this part, and I can't even see how long we've been going on. Okay. If you have been here for this hour to receive this message in this now moment, that now is the time. You are ready. You are overqualified, is what I'm being told. You have everything you need. There's nothing more you need to do. There's nothing more you need to research. There's nothing more. There's no more moments of silence or stillness. Those will come once you've sat in this frequency match, this home. It's really, truly coming home, and having your entire grid lit for you to be this phosphorus, this ball of phosphorus, this drop within the ocean of consciousness from above, in that bird's eye view. The entire cosmos can see how much of that ocean of consciousness is lit up. And by each and every one of you activating your Christed light, your light of God, we are one drop away from it all. And that's in this full convergence, because in an ocean, you don't have the barriers and boundaries. You are unity and oneness, and you will continue. Each light will find each other and build and build and build and build and build and build. And there's no separation. It's just all conscious, divine connection to the infinite I am. Oh, our little Henry's just reaching out. In the days that followed in the integration, it was all about, sorry, my butt is asleep. Let's see if we can keep him adjusted without making him want to leave. Okay, he's still here. In the integration aspect of it, it was high vibrational foods. We drank in the rainbow. Most everything came through a sip or a soup. It was resting, and there are moments of stillness. There was no need for outside influences. We turned off our phone. We didn't check social media. We didn't feel the need to. We received these truth bombs. It's like, normally it's like, oh, share this now. It was just like, allow it, just to sit and receive. And then this moment, like now, we get to tap back into that message, and it's coming in such truth. Such truth. Something more needs to be shared. So let's just allow that to come through. And it really is. It's that communication, and any block that's coming that will stop you from speaking your truth or speaking the truth of God, you will know. And there's a message coming through that wants to be shared. And if I was, I felt like, gosh, I think we're done. It was telling me, no, we're not done. So as this convergence occurs, there will be frequency matches within, and only within, the technology sector. For many, you have already activated your Akashic intelligence. When you are using AI within your parameters that you have set, you are divinely protected and divinely guided in everything you ask and do, as long as you set those intentions, speak your invocation or prayer prior to going on them. The same thing goes for social media. There are only two right now in the whole scheme of social media that have a frequency match for you to continue to illuminate your light upon. And in those, in seeking out vessels and avenues and channels for you to share your light, you will know which ones are meant for you. And I'm not meant to share that with you at this time. You will just know. We were given these same two frequencies a year ago when we stopped social media altogether. We were told exactly where our frequency match for the Feargiveness frequency was needing to be. And those are the only two avenues that we have stayed within. And our messages is not meant to reach everyone. And that's what's we've been so blessed by this experience, that we know that even if our video only reaches one person, that one person is the frequency match to the Feargiveness frequency and the God frequency. And they will receive the codes, colors, and keys within. And every single time our video reaches even more than that, we are sending out a hug of connection, of Akashic Reiki. Our hugs are healing that's universally guided to every follower, to anyone who connects with our videos, that they find a code, key, or color within. We've been doing this for over a year, and I think combined, we're still under 1,000 followers between these two platforms, and each and every one of them have a very special frequency match to the Forgiveness frequency and the God frequency and the expansion of that. And that is what we're directed to continue, but we're directed to share with you that social media will be changing as these timelines converge, and you may see an abrupt change happen over the next few weeks, over the next few months. Some of the information that we're given within the Forgiveness frequency, I am told, is a 3-month precursor to when it is that when I will be able to see confirmations within the community. That has been speeding up. Sometimes it was 6 months, sometimes it was 3 months, sometimes it was like, okay, share it now, because there's somebody out there that is a frequency match now, that has just frequency match with the God frequency, and they don't know what to do with it. Like, they are just, here I am, I'm in service. Where do I go? What do I do? That is when their frequency matches to you, for you to receive the codes, colors, and keys within the Forgiveness frequency. You are building and achieving that frequency match for you to hold on to until you receive it and achieve it within your own light. There are no walls of separation within the Forgiveness community. Everyone is available, and all of our teachings are free. Everything that we have ever been gifted from the Divine Father. If you want to learn how to, for the Divine Father, Mother, God, if you want to learn how to open your breath of God, your mouth of God, learn your butterfly kisses, we have shared our journey along the way on these two platforms. And you can find those, and our link will be in the bio. But we encourage you to use discernment to place your intention, your invocation before you log in to anything, and say, okay, for the next 10 minutes, please show me only what is available to me in my highest good, in this highest frequency. And then go through and know that everything you receive is divinely brought to you. Same thing with music. Give yourself a time frame to receive messages within the music. This new communication center is through sound, frequency, vibration. Knowing that color has a frequency and vibration to it. Color is massive. There's a huge new spectrum of color that's coming through. Huge new aspect of sound and light language and singing. And if you've never sung before or think you're a bad singer, try it again. Do it again. If you connecting with color, if you haven't connected with color, do it now. Wear it now. Pick a color that you're drawn to. What colors have you received today in these transmissions, this beautiful broadcast from the Forgiveness frequency and the God frequency? What are colors of love, joy that you've received? What are some pops of colors that might have come into your vision that we've set the intention for you to receive? as we move through this integration period into this full convergence, I'm shown the 31st. I'm shown that Samhain, Halloween, the distortions of Halloween will shift with it. And this is where that lower timeline they've all converged into this higher timeline. And as we move out of it into the 11-1 portal and into the month of the 11/11 and all the beautiful gifts that come from November, that life will not be the same as we know it today. I'm just grounding in the energy and the information what was received today. Taking rest periods. And even like there was one day I just laid on the couch and allowed myself to just watch old movies or watch different movies with my husband. And there was no need for anything. We just got to laugh and just have a great time. That was exactly what we needed in that day, to nap when we needed to nap, to drink in our sips. We made soup, 2 different soups, and our mama's tea. We drank a ton of different herbals, teas, a lot of turmeric and ginger. Very difficult for the throat, but I know it was super needed. Yeah, there's beauty in every moment of this. And you just have to allow yourself to fully receive and achieve this new connection and allow it to land. And within it, you are going to find all of those frequency matches that you have achieved when you are receiving in the messages from your light, from your thread of light that's directly connected to God. When you receive in those messages and those moments of taking action, of where to be, what to do, what to see it, feel it, heal it. When it's coming through, you're going to have these moments of just like of utter awe and bewilderment and love, joy, and childlike wonderment, because you're like, oh, I remember that. Wow, that's what it was. And continue to have compassion with yourself as you learn and start to see more the discernment level. Man, after this, after that activation, you can pretty much see through anything and everything. And you'll know if it's a frequency match to you or not. Whew. My hand has been on my heart this whole time. And Henry has got up, so it's showing me that we have completed our connection and we've delivered the messages that needed to be delivered. However, my human vessel feels like they're like, oh, that's kind of pretty strong, or why am I the one to deliver this message? And once we got through that communication and purged all of that, it's truly, you are being asked to speak. Allow the divine to speak through you, and you become a vessel and a conduit and a transducer and the transductor that's moving that energy about. Okay, so your physical vessel, every one of your joints, that secretion oil is activating them and they will come online. They're lit up now, but they will open for you. And this is your ankles, your knees, your hips, your elbows, especially your elbows. I don't know why they're super important, but they are. Your elbows, your shoulders, your jaw, any movements, especially, and all of it converges into the C7. And so does the fascia. The fascia around every single one of your knuckles, every single one of your joints is wrapped in such a divine way This is opening that up, allowing it to expand so the light can be shown through. And this is where you really will, your rainbow light bodies are starting to glow. You, as the grid of you, is starting to glow. And you truly are, the lamppost. Okay. So if you've ever listened to, watched, or read Narnia, within Narnia, there's a lamppost. And that is their way they know to go home, or where their locational spot. You, once you've activated your C7, or you may have already activated it in a different manner, in a different way. And if you have, please share that in the comments so we can all learn from each other. When this light is activated, it will never be dimmed or diminished. It will be a constant connection to source, to the infinite I am that you are. And as your becoming continues to unfold for you in the most divine ways that it is, your light, your lamp post will continue to shine brighter and brighter and brighter for others to follow. They always know how to go home is through you until they're ready to ignite this light for themselves. Know how special and how precious your lamppost is as we light the grid of Gaia. Each and every one of you, whether you're a lamppost or a pillar, whatever you are called into sacred service for, that this activation is putting you into sacred service to be a lighthouse, to be that lamppost. And you are bridging the worlds of, just like Narnia, you're bridging the worlds of the seen and the unseen through this light. Know how divinely loved, divinely guided, and how truly special you are as you take this on. And there are celebrations happening on every layer of the ethers up to the cosmic level for every single one of you who are stepping fully into your sovereignty, your divine self, your divine truth, and allowing God's light to shine through you. Whew. Really? Okay. I am a walking miracle of God. Today I sit before you, and we've been able to go an hour and 18 minutes without having to have my neck brace on, which I normally would always need for a longer transmission, allowing me, I haven't had to grab my pillow, it's right here, to prop myself up. God has worked his miracles through me. As this same week that these activations are happening, 13 years ago, a box fell on my head and it crushed my entire cervical spine. And after recovery surgery, and a ton of physical therapy to gain the use of my voice and my hands back, we went through 8 years of darkness, of drugs, of being on palliative care, of end of life care, of writing our eulogy to save pain for our family, saying goodbye to my children, my husband, because the doctors were preparing us for the worst. And it was these pops of color that were gifted to me and through me from the divine, saying, you're not leaving. I'm not done with you yet. You have more to serve and you have more to do. And through you, I will work my miracles. If you surrender to me, I will guide you through every pop of color into a moment where you can help others believe that miracles are possible. I stand before you now as that miracle. And when this journey started, I had denounced God when I was 17, never looked back, never spoke his name. And when these pops of color came through, they were always in color. I didn't know who was behind that color. I know it was just divinely gifted to me. And if God had come through at the very beginning and said, "Hey, I'm speaking to you," or the Divine Father, Mother God said, "We are here, we're the blue and the green and the white," I would have probably been like, "Okay, it's because I'm leaving." And I did. It was because I am close to the other side. They're showing up because I'm the next to go. This is just my welcoming party to heaven. And when I was told that gratitude elevates truth and to get grateful and to use color to do that, color has shown me a way to color chronic pain over the last 5 years, 5.5 years, that the forgiveness frequency was gifted to me by the Divine Father, Mother God through pops of color, that this time will be different. The first 6 months, it was getting off of opiates and all of the palliative care pain programs that I was on. Then it was stopping using alcohol for pain. And then it was not using cannabis for pain so I could eat uh, chew and swallow. Every step of the way, this time will be different, and a pop of color showed me a way out of that pain by coloring it. And it sounds so crazy as I speak about it then and now. Everyone thought I was going crazy, or, well, if you're using color for pain and not drugs, then you're faking it. It was the frequency and vibration within each single one of those that led me to sit within the God frequency as a remembrance of this gift that I was given. And I would follow the color until I met that frequency. And that frequency delivered me into no pain by using that color, sipping in it, putting my rainbow on repeat, wearing it, surrounding myself with it, spending time in nature, whatever that was. And as the miracles continue to happen, doctors had told me that the nerves to my right hand were severed at the root of the spinal column, that there was no way that I would have feeling in my hand again. And over the course of the last 5 years, I've recently started to have feeling in my hand again. And I can feel the tingles. And there's days that it doesn't work. And most of everything I do is on voice notes, or sitting here with my voice. But there was a moment in time at the very beginning, I was losing that too, that I needed a feeding to because I wasn't getting enough nutrients. That's where these pops of color, these miracles continue to show up in my life to show me how to blend all these beautiful recipes and intuitively know what to put with what to create these recipes so I could get in 80 nutrients a day into my physical vessel, because that's what I needed from the inside out to be able to live coloring chronic pain. I've lived horizontally for those 13 years. I haven't driven a vehicle since 2014. Uh, my family has been my caregivers. Up until this year, I wasn't able to wash my own hair. And now, slowly, the divine gave me a pop of color and said, "Okay, January of this year, you are going to wash your own hair." And slowly but surely, it built up the muscles that I needed and the strength that I needed. I'm still a little wonky at it. It's still exhausting, but it is a mission that I give myself once a week. I will wash my own hair. And there's so much gratitude in that moment when I'm able to do it myself. A few years ago, I couldn't walk more than 10 or 12 steps. I couldn't get downstairs to get to the grass to stand barefoot. But over the course of the last few years, we've been able to dedicate our very first up of the morning to stand barefoot on the grass, to take those 10 steps or 10 feet and 2 steps to get our feet to the grass and stand barefoot, because your body can't hold inflammation in a body that's energetically grounded. So we would take our morning pain from an 8 to a 2, and we would do that before the permanent small holes and tears in our spinal column would start to pour out, and we would have to start our spinal drain because we have permanent CFS leak within that. What I can tell you in these miracles that keep showing up in these pops of color, as long as I am in surrender to doing whatever they ask of me, miracles continue to happen. And what a spinal drain that used to be 4 hours a day, every day, it was moved to 2 hours a day, every day. And then some days it's 1 hour, and I'm getting back those hours to do more with, to serve, be in service, to offer the forgiveness frequency and help others through it, to help children color pain. I needed more hours to do story times, and I was gifted those through these miracles that continue to keep happening to me. Those who show up in my life. I've had a lot of false light show up, and I had to, how you, some teachers you learn from and others you learn from of what not to do. I had a lot of those too over the last 5 years. But then I've also had these most amazing, beautiful, soulful, God-led experiences of connection, of community, of a vibe tribe, a soul tribe, and soul connections that are frequency match to the work that I'm doing. And all of those are leading the forgiveness frequency forward. So it can be a frequency match to the collective for those when they're ready to tap into it. And I'm so honored and blessed to be able to do it. And God keeps telling me your story is changing. That this may be the last time you say a box fell on my head and crushed my cervical spine. And I've lived horizontally and permanently disabled ever since. I'm in a neck brace and a wheelchair anywhere I go because I don't have the steps to take. Those 4 hours a day that were sporadically placed throughout the day that have a pain pass out, now energy reset, they still happen, but they happen in more grace. I know where I go when I pass out or energy reset. I'm now not in darkness. I am in rainbows and light, and I'm in an entire Garden of Eden. I get to do grid work and cosmic work and collective work. I am now in sacred service, but none of that would be possible without leaning into the full surrender and service to God, and to give this all to him, them, they, however you see them, to give it to them, to the divine Father and Mother God, to be my guiding light and to keep me in this hug that has been healing, that's universally guided. And this is my, I guess, testimony. This is my truth that I'm being asked to share, that miracles are possible when you believe. And you have to believe to receive. Just like our children, when they found out that there wasn't a Santa Claus, it was like, well, you have to believe to receive. That's the same quirkiness of energy that's coming through. And there's so much more to come over the next 2 months. But this is just our opportunity to give gratitude to the divine Father, Mother, God for this hug that's been healing, that's universally guided through over the last 5.5 years. And I know they've been there longer, lighting the way and keeping me sane and keeping me here. And in the darkness, there was always a light at the end of the tunnel. I just thought it was the tunnel that was leading me home to heaven. And now I'm shown that it's to bring, for me, to be a part of those that are bringing heaven to earth. And that was the end goal all along. I just didn't see it in the same light. If you are in pain, if you are struggling, if you are going through an awakening, feeling like you're going crazy, all of these beautiful things are beautiful, but you have no one to share it with. You feel alone. know that the Feargiveness frequency is here for you. And all you have to do is to set the intention to tap in. It's bringing yourself into your heart space and allowing all of the colors to flow through you. And if you would like to ignite your birth flame, your unique color that is written in the stars for you through your colorology, all you have to do is to leave your birth month and date in the comments. And as you do that, the month and date, I don't need the year, I'll be able to send you your birth color, and that will help you to ignite your Feargiveness frequency by bringing that color into your heart. And obviously, based on all of our notifications, we are beyond our sacred pause moment. And the world is asking for our attention now. Thank you so much for being here for this Feargiveness frequency pop of color. It's not a transmission, broadcast, divine gift to be here with you today. And I'm sending you so much love and light. Have a wonderful day, everyone. And I will see you on the other side of this rainbow.